God damn it. Okay. Well, welcome back to another video. I haven't been making a video for about 3 weeks right now. As you noticed, I'm the only one doing this right now. So everybody's cool. So Ben, what's good, man? Tell me about
Hey,
yourself.
how you doing?
Welcome to the seventh episode of Into the Sleep.
How you doing? I've been.
Pretty good. So tell me about yourself, like about damaged clothing and your solo project.
All right, so basically, I'm a young as fuck kid, fat as fuck kid, who no, I'm just joking, but so I started music so I've been doing music since like my whole life. I started when I was like 2 years old. I picked up a pair of drumsticks, and ever since then, I've been doing like music and going through school and everything. I was always like picked on, made fun of and shit. And music was really the only escape I ever had. So ever since then, that's the only thing I've ever wanted to do was music. So uh, I've tried to do a couple bands, and then none of those bands were serious. Like every one of those bands were kind of like, oh, we're just gonna have this be like a cover band or a weekend band. I was like, I can't do this. I really can't do this anymore. I need a fucking escape, and I got to do it. So I was like, I'm just gonna take this into my own hands. So I made a couple demos. A couple songs on those demos really popped off, and then I started doing my solo stuff. Started playing shows. I mean, I'll never forget. This is just kind of a quick abbreviation of everything, but like, I'll never forget the first show I've ever done. It was with Saluna, Hunter Black, Portals, Bind the Sacrifice, and Nakarin. Some of those are like the big boys of Chicago. And that's really like, without that show, I would not be in the scene right now. And I thank all those dudes. Um, so ever since then, I just been kind of cranking out my own solo stuff. Um, I discovered Spite, Knock Loose, and all those hardcore bands, and I really like the clothing that they did, especially Spite with Darius, Outsider. I'm
Outsider.
repping the new stuff. Yeah. I wanted to do my own clothing line. I've always had like design, like I've always been designing merch. Like I've always been like, I have notebooks filled from high school when I should have been doing, the basic assignments. I was just drawing album art, drawing shit,
Hey,
writing
that's
lyrics.
a passion right there, and that's a
Yeah.
future. That's a passion for the future. Like what I see
Mm,
when you see it, kind of connects to me. Like you wanted to get
yeah.
things serious. You
Hmm.
wanted to get things with serious, and you don't want to go like start. You don't want to get to the small part. It's like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, I already know what to do. I can just do it right now. Like
Yeah.
if it's either on your own experience, you have high
Hmm.
knowledge, or it's like you're looking at someone like you could just teach them about it and just but
Yeah.
it's like being your own teacher and you can just move on with it and go on with it. Kind of
Hmm.
reminds me how I did with my band Nagroth, where
Yeah.
it starts out with different genres
Hmm.
and it just
Oh
goes
yeah,
on.
for
I get to
sure.
the point where like I just want to do solo, like I can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. So
Yeah.
give me like a little bit more details of damage. What I'm very interested about
Yeah.
how did it came up with and with the
Okay.
whole drawing.
So like I was saying before, like I was a big fan of like Spite, Knock Loose, and then I like the pop punk bands and the hardcore scene too. It was all the fashion. Like like recently I've seen a lot of fashion. And like I said before, I've always been doing art. I've always been drawing up mock-ups and shit. And then I joined a band before my current band that I'm in. We were called Reigns of Sins. We were trying to be a hardcore band, and ever since then, I was drawing up designs for them. Nothing ever came out of that. We would just never get past the practice once, twice a week phase. So I was like, I'm gonna start clothes, and then my solo stuff. I call my fans the damaged ones because we're all a little fucked up in the head. And if you've ever seen any of my live shows, I'm really fucked up in the head. That's all
Yeah,
I can
I
say.
saw. It kind of
Yeah.
it gives me that sworn in vibes.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really damaged one clothing. It's clothing that speaks to people that are going through stuff, that are going through like the mental thing, going through physical things. If someone's getting picked on for their weight, someone's getting picked on for how they act. The kid that sits in the back of the classroom is like, he's scared to talk to people because he knows like stuff's gonna happen. They're damaged, and that's what how I've always interpreted it, damaged. And then I wanted to make clothing that would be like, he can feel accepted in society without having, you know, with having his own, he can have his own acceptance with having the mainstream feel. So really, I draw a lot of inspiration from like big names like Supreme and all that stuff, because I designed my own merch too. Ben Zarndt merch. I designed most of that. I've had some designs from other people, but overall, I've designed all my art, all my merch, and I've always wanted to take that into merch too and like clothing. So that's how I started Damaged One clothing. I just wanted everyone to feel accepted
Yeah.
and everyone to feel, like they're not alone. And if I can do that just reaching out through a t-shirt, or I can do that just, having a kid repping, a Frankenstein t-shirt that I made, but knowing that he's wearing it representing Damaged One, knowing that he's a little messed up in the head, but knowing that it's okay, that everyone's different, that just it hits me right here, and I just want everyone to feel accepted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Mm-hmm.
it's a big thing with what's going on from the couple of years,
Yeah.
like the way I'm hearing it right now, it kind of hits me too, like
Mm-hmm.
it kind of hits me the most because like like even if it's called, even if it's the acceptance, like there's so many people out there are being really scared to talk,
Mm-hmm.
where like they'd be like, I don't know if I should talk because what if I fuck
Yeah.
up or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah. I
so
feel
it's
you.
it's it's one of that. I mean, I can
Mm-hmm.
relate to it, I used to be that guy, be like, I can't talk, but what if I fuck up, so
Yeah.
it's
Like.
it's a huge relations,
Mm-hmm.
and then with music, it's like it takes a deeper message, to go through. People will There's two types of people will say, I like this music, kind of helps me. It's mainly just vibing, versus
Yeah. Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
well, I mean, they can be fans, they just enjoy it,
Yeah.
versus they want to go deeper and deeper and just be like, this
Yeah.
guy's like me.
Yeah. That like, I can definitely see what you're saying. Like, I picked through like the mainstream music, like your pop, your trap, the rap, that kind of stuff. People like really vibe with it, but like it feels like it's definitely different in like the metal, pop punk, whatever. If someone's a fan of like a rapper, they'll just listen to their music, probably buy one of those Target T-shirts or whatever. But like, you're repping Traders right now. Every Traders fan I've ever met, for the most part, or like most Traders fans that I've met, they're like on top of like Traders, or like Signs of the Swarm, or
Hey,
Outsider, like Spite. Everyone, like, if there's a band, 9 times out of 10, if someone hears that band, they'll want to support it, even if they are shit, even if they're great. Everyone's gonna want to support that kind of thing.
everyone's gonna support it. There's
Mm-hmm.
two ways of supporting it. It's either if it's music or if it looks
Yeah,
super 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 nice.
yeah,
Like it's it's
mm-hmm.
it's super nice. That's what like merch goes on with nowadays. Now,
Yeah,
let me ask you this:
mm-hmm.
if you can like collab with any brand, what would it be, and what kind of profit, sticking to that subject with the whole Damaged One, where will you collab with
Yeah.
the organization, if I'm saying it right, excuse me.
Oh, I know what you're trying to say. Honestly, I would like to collab again with Outsider. Everyone feels like an outsider. I am in hell, help me. Or Damaged One clothing. We are left to rot. That's my catch. That's my line. I would like to actually vibe though with Alan from Traders. Not Alan, Steven from Traders. He has a great clothing
No,
line.
no, no authority.
Yeah, he's
My
he's
my
he's got some
favorite.
dope stuff. Yeah, he's got some dope stuff. I haven't been able to pick anything up because like literally most of the time when he drops stuff, there's like a brand new outsider drop coming or something's popped up and I just feel so horrible. So I would like to with him or outsider for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
on the side, like on the side, you can always usually I don't know if it's a good thing to ask bands when they drop a pre-order, but
Hmm.
usually like they don't mention about leftovers. That's kind
Yeah.
of, I mean, to me, if I were in the step right now saying like, oh, I did a drop and I did a limited time only, I will. Let me get to you. Let me get to this. Let's say you did like a 3-day drop, right? And when you
Hmm.
say like you feel horrible because you kind of missed out a drop, would you feel satisfied if a fan said, "Hey, man, do you got any of those left? Those are super, super hard. I will."
I've actually I not I didn't mean to cut you off, but
It's
I
alright.
know I know exactly what you mean. Like, I legit just had a buddy of mine. He's a really cool guy. He's in the whole flag collecting scene. He hit me up and he was like, "Hey, so I saw one dude had all your flags," and I was like, "Is there a way you can like let me buy your whole flag collection?" So I went through. I redid all my designs on everything because I go through a website called threadless.com. It's like
That's what I
Teespring and
use.
everything. Yeah, it's a print on demand kind of thing. But you got to actually know how to use it. You can't just upload a shirt and just say, "Hey, go buy it." You got to like market it and stuff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
print on. It's. I'm not putting money into it like that. Like how I got to go out and buy like actual my own merch, but I got to like put the. There's a lot of time that goes into it. I always take ads out for it, and it's really time consuming and money does go into it. Like every job I've ever had, I've always put an ad. I've ran an ad, so I going back to what I was saying though beforehand, I always put the most I can into my clothing line, but my even my own merch, like what I was saying, the guy wanted like all my flags, and I was like, here's what I can do for you. I can upload them till Sunday, and then I'm gonna have to take them back down. Is that okay for you? I made sure like that's okay. I didn't want just to do it and just say, all right, you got till this time. I wanted to ask him and everything. He's like, yeah. I uploaded it. Like 2 hours later, he bought my whole entire flag collection, and I was like, God damn. So yeah,
Godly.
like there's two things that are always important in my eyes. The music, it goes number two is music, number one's the fans. If I'm not going to please my fans, then I don't want to do it.
Always got to make sure the
Mm-hmm.
fans
Yeah,
got to their way. It's like
yeah.
that's how it goes for what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty cool with the merch consumes nowadays. People will go for
Yeah.
like flags to vinyls, maybe
Mm-hmm.
merch. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I really I really when I'm not like doing research on like a band or music or something, I'm always researching merchandise and that kind of stuff pertaining to like clothing and stuff like that. I definitely see, the flag collectors group. I was one of the first people that was joined that flag collectors group. I remember when there was like 50 people, and now it's grown to this big community, and now every big ass band's dropping their flags. I've seen flags, beanies, long sleeves, and something else. I can't remember there, and pins. Those are like really in the metal scene, not like in the whole spectrum of clothing, but like in the scene kind of thing. I've seen those kind of like been popping off the most.
but yeah, that's true. Like
Yeah.
I noticed the most that long sleeve. Like if like exclude them out if it has to do with clothing. Noticed that long
Mm-hmm.
sleeves and hoodies are like the most buys. You know,
Yeah.
unless you got like a really iconic shirt, like for example, a band called Nagroth, which is
Yeah.
sold out within like 2 weeks because people will always go for like putting as reference like movies or art references or
Oh yeah.
inspiration. So
Yeah.
people will go after and be like, do you have any more of those? And I'm like, I gotta see, and maybe like in the future.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I definitely
it's
feel you.
I
Like
say
I.
it's. I'm sorry. I
No, you're
say
fine.
yeah. I say it's like it's very. It has to. You have to have like a catcher in order to sell a
Mm-hmm.
shirt. But long sleeves, like most likely red or red and black or any other colors, more than 3 to 2 colors. You can catch them like that. Hoodies,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all you need is a logo and the car art.
Yeah.
You're sold. You know.
Yeah. It seems more complicated than what it actually is. The like with how society is today, like even involving music, like no one's gonna listen to a 30-minute song, but or listen or like pay attention to something that's like long, big, big kind of thing. I mean, big like as in like okay, take an example like Freebird from Leonard Skinner. If that song was like released today, it'd probably be big, but it wouldn't be like how it is back then when it came out because no one would have sat through like a big like a long guitar solo or something like that. So I feel like that's really got to go into your merch, and like it really has to go into like how you design it. Keep it simple, but keep it something playful. You know, you there's been some times where I've seen like bands or some clothing lines like uh do merch and it's kind of like you're just doing it just to get the cringe factor, you're doing it for the meme factor, you're doing it just to get the color factor, and it all if it works it works. I've released shirts where there's been literally no one has bought them. I've released shirts and flags where people like buy them, boom, quick. So yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Um, Let me ask you another thing, and this is a really, really common question.
Hmm.
I guess I can say a very cringe worthy from if another person does it, but how would you react if someone bought off like a really rare shirt, and then the next day be like, "Hey, does anybody want this shirt?" Sure. Oh my god, bro, why are you selling it the next day? Cause I need to flip them. How would you react to that? I mean,
Yeah. It depends on what it is. Like if someone, I'm going back to Spite again. I'm a big Spite fan. They just dropped those Nothing Is Beautiful vinyls, and
I
took,
can't believe I missed it.
yeah, I was able to pick like one of the last copies of the black and white variant at last second, dude. It was great, but I'm sorry, but anyways, I like literally there's a dude right as they like started getting in people's things, he threw it up on eBay and it was 149 bucks, and I was really upset about it.
Like, come
But
on, bruh.
yeah, like it depends on the item and the value. Say if it's like, say if there was like a shirt that was like limited to like say, okay, here's a great example. This isn't like merch, but it's music. Code Orange released cassettes that was limited to 15 or 50, I believe, 15 or 50, one of the two, and they sold out literally in seconds. Like I went to the website, clicked on it, added in my cart, like 3 seconds later it was gone. Like that's how
Damn.
quick they sold. And I can understand if someone like waits a couple months, then they throw it up on eBay or something, or like throw it up and they're like doubling the price. Yeah, but if you're buying the shirt just to resell the factor, depending on what the design or the outfit or the whatever it is, it's either it's a really shitty thing, or I understand why. If it's something that's like very, very limited, I feel like if you want to throw something up like that, yeah, go ahead. Like very limited, I mean like small quantities were made. But if it's something that you had months to order, or something that you had a long time to order, you bought it and then you threw it up ASAP right as it came to your door, then I'm kind of like, you're kind of taking business away from someone that
Yeah.
actually needed the
I like
business.
it's kind of like more. It's kind of a more of a waste timer, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's like it's like the consuming, you know.
Hmm.
It's like it's still there, you know. Or like a band's gonna say like oh, you're flipping, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what if I just re-release it and no one's not gonna pay attention to that flipper's price?
Yeah.
You know, like for example, I kind of see one of Rose Funeral's merch
Hmm.
that was being flipped double the price,
Yeah.
and then later, you know, I saw like it brought back out, and I was like, ha, in your face.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
know. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
no, continue. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just gonna say though, the Acacia strain did it. Their flags are going for hundreds of dollars, and even the Grave Bloom flag, those flags were going for hundreds of dollars. And then Acacia strain looked at everyone and said, "All right, we're releasing a box set. Everyone's getting a flag." Dropped it, and now they're going for dirt cheap. Like they're expensive, they're pricey, but it's like it's not $400 or $500 pricey as it used to be.
No, but here's the thing about acacia strain is that
Mm-hmm.
anybody will eat it up. Like no matter what's the price, anybody will eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, I had a mate of mine, you know, had to sell his whole collection, and
Yeah.
I told him like start off with this dude's technique, dynamic technique.
Mm-hmm.
5, 10 inboxes saying how much you want that for. I'll buy it right now. Same, all the same people, and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
he's buying it. Let me raise my price. You know, like that's what people during. Well, I want to say during the time, you know, not
Mm-hmm.
as it before. You know, like you could just sell a tour exclusive shirt. They're gonna wait
Mm-hmm.
until tour is over. But with this time, you know, like bands like the Acacia String, Spy, Strangled, they will eat it up like the super
Oh yeah.
fast. Like it's like you want to look fresh in your quarantine drip. That's cool, you know.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
like you know, as soon as someone saw that, it's like let me just flip it like that, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like okay, yeah, let me doubt myself. No one's not gonna buy it. They will eat it. They will eat it up like crazy, like insanely
Yeah.
crazy. So like
Yeah. I remember when Counterparts dropped that crew neck that was $100 and was like limited to 100, and it was like
I
it
think
was
it was
embroidered.
I think it was a hoodie.
It was a hoodie or a crew neck. I can't
It was
really
a
remember.
hoodie. It was a
It was a
embroidered.
hoodie.
Yeah, it was a hoodie.
Yeah. I like what you said. I agree, but then I disagree at the same time because, like I was saying, like the Counterparts hoodie, crew neck, whatever it was, fans really got mad at them. But I was like, I understand embroidery is really expensive to make, so I was kind of like, I wasn't upset at them. I understood why they did it, and I've seen a lot. Those didn't even sell out quick either. I think it I'm not gonna say it depends on like the actual product. It depends on like what are your fans willing to do for it. Like It's because Spite dropped flags that were $50 and people snatched those up quick.
Yeah, that's
But if
very
Spite
quick.
dropped those same flags for $150 each, they would have probably been ripped apart. So really pricing and like not gonna say loyalty, but like how
Loyal
much you're willing to do.
loyalty. You know, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry that I have to like add this, but
No, you're fine.
speaking of 100 outsider, like look at how outsiders sell out those bombers
Yeah.
within like what 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Like I'm like, gee, bro. Either the
Not
stint.
even 5 to 10 minutes. Those. I had it in my cart, checked out. Then I got an email literally like 5 seconds later saying, "Hey, we can't buy that. You can't buy this anymore. It's sold out. Here's your money back." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." So I got an outsider shirt and hat. But going back to like a bomber, like people expect that kind of stuff to be a little more pricey, you know, uh, because bombers are made with different material. Most of your metal fans, hard rock, whatever fans you have, most of them understand like it's a small company compared to something like with Supreme. If Supreme were to drop that, they could probably drop that for $50, you
And
know,
sell it
just
out.
just to sell it out. But someone like Darius has to or Darius and the buddy that he does it with, I can't remember who he does it with, but he's a great dude too. Like they have to put so much money into making these bombers. That's why they're so limited and they cost a little more pricey. And a lot of times people are kind of like, yeah, we understand. Like the bombers though is a great example. Another great example too of like what you were saying though is the sweatpants they just dropped in the last two drops. Those didn't sell quick. I remember going back and I kept contemplating for a couple of days where I was kind of like, maybe I should buy a pair, maybe I shouldn't buy a pair. It depends on the pricing, and if you like, I thought those pants were gonna be like $45 at the most. They turned out to be like 70, I believe. They're between 60 and $70. I think it was 60 to $80. I cannot remember. Don't quote me on that, but it depends on the loyalty and how much the fan is willing to give. This is just my opinion though. Loyalty, how much is the fan willing to give, and how well you got to know your fan base. But if it comes down to a small company like that, I feel like it's I understand why they do it. I understand why it's got to be like that. And you know, the lower the quantity is, the more you're going to have to pay out of pocket for it. I know the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. So like vinyl pressing is also a great example too. The more vinyl you have, the cheaper the cost could be. You know, I just bought 30 vinyls for the Hate EP and they sold, but they were pretty pricey to buy. Same with CDs too. The more CDs I bought, the cheaper the price was. So I was able to sell them cheaper. So if you're only able to buy so much to sell, you can only sell it at some price just to make profit, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like well, I heard somebody once said the limited the better, and then
Mm-hmm.
they kind of like throw those out and everything. It's like
Yeah.
that's another thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the cool things about how like those are a prime good examples. Not bashing on the counterpart hoodies.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, Gulch. but like it's like people will go at it. It's like
Mm,
just go at it. Especially the Gulch hoodies.
yeah.
It's insane. Like any of the small names. With good music sells the
Mm-hmm.
most. So
Yeah.
let me get to the music. So I have like
Mm-hmm.
very very interesting questions with the music. So you answered one of my questions, how your solo project started,
Yeah.
how you want to like make the music related
Mm-hmm.
to the people. It's not for
Yeah.
it's not for like the inspiration. Because whenever I listen
Mm-hmm.
to Zart, I how you pronounce it?
All right.
um,
It's funny. Everyone's like, "How do you pronounce it?"
how do you
It's
pronounce
Zarnt.
it? Zarn.
It's Zarnt. It's
Zarn.
just it's Zarnt.
Okay.
Once you actually hear it and then you read the word, you kind of like, I'm fucking stupid. Nah, I
Hey,
didn't mean that in a mean way. But
hey,
once you
hey.
actually see it though, you're kind of like, oh,
That's how you
okay,
pronounce it. It's like how
yeah,
people. It's like people how to pronounce my band. So it's
yeah, yeah. I
like.
was the same way for a little bit, and someone told me, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now I can unhear it or can't unhear it, kind
Oh,
of thing. Or
now you already know how to pronounce it. So
yeah,
so going back to like how it all started. You already answered one of my questions, but the other
mm,
thing is like what's the main concept? Like we're not like on your performance on your live stream. Like how did those stage rituals goes, if I'm saying it right. Like
Yeah.
every band has a stage ritual.
Hmm.
Like sworn in, they pull their eyes up and be like, before we depart
Hmm.
to spite, seeing their drummer posted a cross upside down, seeing you on the live stream or on the
Hmm.
videos on stage, like saying, like, going at the angriest one and just let it out, and
Yeah.
that's what hypes it up. So
Hmm.
what's the concept behind it, using those emotions on stage?
So, like I was going back before, I was always made fun of as a kid. My household for a little bit was not a great household. Not great as in like there was constantly fighting. Brothers, parents didn't get along. Family was fighting, kind of thing. I really don't want to get into that. My
Nah,
apologies,
it's
but
alright.
I'm just throwing that out there. It was a really hard thing to grow up, and then you're supposed to come home and get away from that, and going to school, having kids constantly make fun of you, kids like constantly wanting to fight you, having kids like invite you to to the birthday parties just to beat the shit out of you, then tell you to get the fuck out of my house, kind of thing. That's it. It just there was no escape, and I would always go back to the music, and I am a genuinely angry person. Like right now, I'm not angry. Like right now, I have nothing to be angry about. But like
Yeah.
whenever I do a live show, it varies on what kind of anger you get out of me. Like my first show, I was nervous, so it really wasn't me. My first two shows, because I played two shows back to back, and they weren't like me kind of thing. Then I played a cover set. Every show after that, it's always been a personal pain. Um, the last excuse me, the last show I played before COVID happened, I actually played with Betrayer, rest in peace, Casket Maker, One Less Life, and a small thrash metal band. Their kids literally younger than me, and they're talented as shit called Damage. Excuse me, I'm sorry,
You're fine.
but I played that. Uh, I was I had a lot of things going on. I just formed a band called Bullet Biter, and there was some stuff that was happening in that band at that time, that there was something posted to the page that really kind of upset me, and there was also stuff happening at my house. I got thrown out of my house because me and my dad didn't agree with something, and I got thrown out of my house, and I was working a very shitty job, and I'm not one to look at someone and just go fight someone. I will never go out of my way to hurt someone. I will never go out of my way to curse a person out. I'm more of I need a way to escape, and I played that show, and literally it was so angry, so pissed off. Well, the show I played, that live stream show, I previously during that live stream show, I was having problems with getting my diploma high school. I was just not in great relationship with my dad and my mom. Brothers were just not with me any like brothers just did not give a shit about me anymore. I was always frowned upon. Everywhere I went, I was known as the tall, fat head, fat ass metal kid. I was really like I was genuinely an outcast, and and then there was kids that were just like wanting to fight me online for like literally I could not give you a reason. I can pull up shit right now. I just could not give you a reason. And then there was also having problems with me and my ex-girlfriend, uh and I just needed a way out. And I hit up my guitar player, and he helped me do this live set, helped me master it. Lead singer of Lost in the Current let me use his place to do it, and I just cranked it out. And there was a lot of, because not playing a show for a year really gets on you as you're a performer. Usually, I play
Yeah.
about once to twice a month, and when you don't have that way to get that stress out, way to get that anger out, it builds up. Plus, I also have my song Memory. I wrote that song literally when I slept behind a dumpster at a back ass alley in a bike on a bike trail, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was that was a pain I've never wanted to feel. And I don't even like when, bands, I encourage bands to listen to your own music. Don't ever feel ashamed to listen to your own music.
Yeah, it's like that one quote.
Hmm.
It's like that one quote. If you never listen to your song, is it gonna be a banger?
I only make music I want to listen to. I will never make a song that'll appeal to the mainstream. I'll never like there's just no way. I just couldn't do it because it's just not me. I like genuinely angry music. I love hardcore music, the rap music I listen to. It's always the harder shit. It's yes, I love my share of classic rock, hard rock, that the love ballad metalcore kind of stuff. I love that stuff. Some of my favorite bands of all time is classic rock bands. I'm a huge disco fan too. Like it's weird for me to say, but I am. It just but I grew up getting in the metal scene. My first ever metal band I got into was Slipknot, and just seeing how crazy they are. They put on a mask. That's one of the reasons why I put on a mask. Everyone will call me ugly, but you can't call me ugly when you've never really seen my face. The masks I wear live, they've always changed set to set. They're not for people to look at me. They're not the reason why Slipknot wants to show their pain. I use my mask to hide my pain. And going back to memory, like my memories live set, I used a mask that was just blank, white, pale. You don't know, you couldn't see my eyes. You don't know what I can see. My mouth was barely fucking cut open. You couldn't hear me unless I took it off. And memory, memory is a song about losing, like forgetting the past memories, forgetting all the bullshit. Really, the hate EP is really all about, forgetting, using your hate for good. Don't use your hate to go beat the fuck out of someone. Go use your hate to help someone. You know, you might be angry as fuck and you want to go punch someone. Instead of going to punch someone, someone needs a person to go box them. Why don't you go box them in a boxing ring legally and shit? That's what I'm like encouraging people. Go do it. Say
Yeah.
like you're angry as fuck and you just want to like pick up something heavy and just throw it to the fucking ground. Some old lady down the street needs you to pick up her heavy ass garbage. Why go down and help her? Kind of thing. Use your hate for good. And going back to memories about letting your memories die. And that was the first time I've ever played that song live, because the Hate EP came out during the beginning of coronavirus, like a couple weeks in it came out, and I was not expecting it. I already had the release set and everything too, and it kind of hurt it, but not at the same time. But that's another conversation if you want to have that later. But going back to the live set and everything, it's just when I played that song live for the first time, I literally like I was having a mental breakdown, like literally seeing me. I was crying basically after that whole set. You hear me walk off saying fuck over and over and over. I did
Yeah.
not stop crying for like the last 10 minutes after that, 10-15 minutes, even after cameras were done. Like it hurt. It's a pain I've never wanted to feel. I finally felt that pain. And, I'm just trying to rebuild kind of thing. I just had some problems with me and my ex-girlfriend. I'm not going to bring that up. I don't want to bash her or anything. I had some problems with that, and then while I wrote my new song "Fuck Love," I brought that in. But basically, to summarize everything with what you've said, like what is my music about? It's about I hate you. That's literally what it is. I couldn't say anger, because anger you can walk off. If you genuinely hate someone, you could hate them forever. You can hate them for 5 minutes. You don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I go live, if I see people crowd killing, I'm not gonna stop them. People got to get it out. I'd rather have them beat
Yeah.
the fuck out of. Like
It's
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
fine.
I don't want to see people fighting outside where they're gonna get arrested. I'd rather see someone do this thing in the middle of the thing, hit someone for like a half a second, walk away, and then that's just that. They got it out instead of going outside shooting someone or stabbing someone. My music's meaning is about, like, I don't want to see anyone hurt anyone like that. So that's why I want to keep it inside of my set, inside of it. That's why I'm always cursing. NWI hate. If you've ever heard that pre-chorus breakdown, like I wrote that song, I was just genuinely pissed off that day. My music represents I hate you. That's just what I like. I said, it can't even be anger. It's just I hate you. That's just
Yeah.
what it boils down to.
Yeah. It's like using hate for good,
Mm-hmm.
not for like targeting another human. Because what they hate in a definition, I grew up. Like
Mm-hmm.
like it relates to using hate for good. It
Yeah.
kind of teaches patience and all. It's like you can't hate a human because that's what led to what you
Mm-hmm.
said about shooters outside to
Mm-hmm.
murderers or revenge out there. It's a harsh thing nowadays. Like whenever we mention hate, whenever someone mentions hate, like, yeah, I hate that fucker too. We
Mm-hmm.
should jump him, or we should get him fired, or he should kill himself. And it was like that's not the
Yeah.
type of hate like
Hmm.
people should target for him nowadays.
Yeah.
Like hate got really strong nowadays.
Hmm.
That whenever we bring up hate, it had to do with toxic masculinity. If I'm pronouncing it
Yeah.
right, it had to do with
Yeah.
politicians. It had to do with like cool guy
Hmm.
friends or cool guy companies.
Yeah.
It's like it gotten so strong. They can use it as a weapon. So
Hmm.
let's say that somebody who's outsmarting them. If it goes with jealousy first, instead of saying
Yeah.
congratulations, I wish I could learn from you. It just goes with the whole, yeah, let me leave your life right there and boom,
Hmm.
let me make it look like an accident. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I think of hate nowadays. Hate is
Hmm.
really dangerous where it's
Yeah.
leading.
Oh yeah. Hate is really strong in this world right now, and really we like during the course of coronavirus and months leading up to coronavirus, hate was really starting to grow up. Hate was really starting to build up in the society that we live in, and the scene like everywhere. There's hate literally everywhere. I go on Facebook nowadays. I go on Instagram. It's hate after hate after hate. Personally to me, I don't care what sex you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care who you love. I don't care what you identify as. I genuinely don't care in a sense of me saying I don't care as in like, I want you. I'm saying like personally, I'm not going to hate anyone. I'm not going to cancel, do whatever they want just because of their own life choices. That's your body. You do. Me saying I don't care is saying like, I don't care what you do with your own body, because as long as you're not hurting anyone else or yourself, you can go do exactly what you want to do. Live your life, and I'm not going to shame you for it. I'm not going to hate you for it. I that's just personally where I come from. And if I genuinely hate someone, I'll just go grab a mic, I'll scream my anger out, and that's just where it goes. I just feel like a lot of people in this today's society, we're more focusing on the negatives in the world when we should, in my opinion, just be focusing on the positives. I always tell
Yeah,
everyone who's going through stuff, I'm like, pick the positives out of the bad,
yeah,
because if you focus on the bad, you're just gonna sit there and it's gonna hurt you and cut you down even more. You think about the bad, not don't think about the bad, think about the good. I'll always think about the good. That's something I've always lived my life on. Or recently, like from 2018 and up, I've tried to think about the good. Always think about the good.
yeah. It's always good, no matter what's going on. No
Hmm.
matter who's damaging, and there's always a chance saying either just do your own thing, because
Hmm.
then the more you let it consume and consume, it can lead to big things out there.
Yeah.
I can't bring it up into this, because then again, I'm gonna, but it brings up to a lot of people who make fun of somebody because they got hurt badly, and then
Yeah.
call that person who hurt that other person a hero. Unless I'm not saying it to anyone. That does not apply to anyone. I'm saying like
Yeah.
call that person a hero because he, I don't know how to say this in a mild language, but like not everybody who's getting hurt is a bad person. There's people that wants to
Yeah.
live their lives. There's people out there putting their lives at risk,
Hmm.
and it's just they be like, I don't want to choose to be that person.
Yeah.
And there's outside of the digital world, there's either someone angry, or inside the digital world there's
Hmm.
always digital aiming for that good person to be the bad guy.
Yep.
There's so many people out there with hearts that they're scared to put their wrist in life, and whenever they
Hmm.
put their wrist in lives, they just end up either being canceled because of who they are, or they end up just getting killed, and that killer is a hero.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing. Not
Hmm.
everybody wants to be that person. Not everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, there's assholes out there. Hell yeah, there's assholes who's even scared to stand up because they don't want to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
They don't want to even lose their jobs. I can't mention
Hmm.
his name to protect the survivor, but I end up having to interview him, and every time I had to bring this up, he gets shaky, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I can't talk about it because when you're with them,
Hmm.
you're scared as shit, don't know what to do. It's like you're a bunch of friends doing their jobs, and you're just there
Yeah.
shaking and all that. It's not their fault. But then again, people choose to be like, how are you still walking in day broad light, or how are you still
Hmm.
walking, like you're choosing being isolated yourself, and yet it's still there, So
Yeah.
that's what hate nowadays are growing and growing and growing, and people think that hate is gone, it's
Yeah.
it's it's not gone, it's no matter if we're recovering, no matter if we want to change to a good person, hate will
Yeah.
always come out to at the wrong reason,
Hmm.
like no matter what, like for a
Yeah.
guy like myself, I learned a very very lesson about never ever, like I said, to me, I
Hmm.
can't hate a human no matter what they are. And
Yeah.
there was that one time I had a very angry time letting the digital world consuming it, and I got influence and be like, yeah, that person does deserve. But at the same time, be like, wait a minute, what is this? This is not the
Yeah.
type of hate that should be spread around.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Most definitely. Most
so
definitely.
like I'm really hate about this right now. Like
Hmm.
I hope
Yeah. I
I hope
feel you.
anybody watching this podcast or listening to this podcast through the YouTube or Spotify, knowing about what hate should be really used.
Yeah.
It's like taking this as a religious form. You can't just have just a heaven, because there will be a
Yeah.
bunch of hypocrites. You need a hell in order
Hmm.
to show. So i'm
Yeah.
not i'm not bashing on any religion. That's like saying there's no such thing as prison, because there's going to be a lot of assholes out there
Yeah.
nowadays. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm Catholic, so I understand what you're saying.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I genuinely feel you. There's always got to be one thing for something
it's
else.
always got to
Yeah.
be it's always got to be a one thing, but it has
Mhm.
to use right. And
You got it.
that's a neutral way. There's no
Yeah.
there's no hate love, and there's no hate.
Yeah.
So going to my very very last question, and I can wait. Actually, what's the songs are? There's two. I already talked about one. Fuck love, right?
Mm, I don't believe so.
No. Okay. So going to one of your songs on fuck love.
Hmm.
What's it mainly about? Because I made a theory. I made a theory like a few days ago, and like I said, not to bring
Yeah.
anything up. So I'm guessing like
Oh, you're fine.
like you kind of like had a bad experience with love.
Hmm.
What would you say about that song? Like,
What does fuck love mean to you? Like when you listen to that song, you think about the lyrics. What does it mean to you?
well, I think about the sound the most, not just the
Hmm.
lyrics. Like mainly like when I think about the sound, I think of as relating to hate. Love is fake. Love is fake nowadays. Going from the
Yeah.
past 30 to 25 years, love has been nothing but a fake thing. People can say, "Oh, I love you,"
Hmm.
and just hit you in the back.
Yeah. So basically, you somewhat got it. But I love hearing people's own interpretations of what they believe my music's about, and I want everyone to have their own feeling on it, and I want them to keep their own feeling on it. I don't want them to believe what I believe. But fuck love, uh, I talk about fuck love as in like what why do people got to go around someone's back and fuck someone up? In this case, a girl. This song was literally about no girl in particular. There was no like
There was
that's
no
why I
girl.
mentioned no girl, no family member that was a girl, no nothing. But as like from what I was pulling from it, people always like say like personal or object things, like they always go she, like when a guy looks at a car they say she. When a guy gets a brand new guitar, most of the time they'll go like, oh, this is her name now or something. That's where she comes from. Like, will she ever learn? Fuck love is about wanting to basically what you said. It's about getting at like, why did you have to backstab me? Why did you bury my face in dirt? That's why I say fuck love. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that's the main thing about it. It's like love can be used also as a
Yeah.
weapon along with
Mm-hmm.
hate. It's like it's a really really strong word. People would get
Yeah.
terrified and all that.
Mm-hmm. Like with my band Bullet Biter, there's a lot of angry shit I write about with Bullet Biter. It depends. There's a lot of variations on hate, a lot of variations with it.
All right. And let me get to another song. This is like my very last question of the night. Prove
Yep.
it. Prove it. I noticed that there's two tones to it.
Hmm.
With your voice, kind of sounds like you're talking throughout the day, and then with Taylor's voice, it kind of sounds like a demon
Yeah.
that you want to beat the living fuck out of that demon before he
Mhm.
does that conjuring shit. You know, like how does the song? How do you make those tones? You know, I mean, we all know Taylor's vocals are super nice, but how do
Yeah,
you?
Taylor's got a great vocal. Yeah.
He does have a great vocals. You know, I feel like Prove It has a story than a sound. Like
Hmm.
how did you go with it?
So before Prove It even came out or anything, Prove It dropped a couple days before Load. Then they only had the one for Left to Suffer. They only had the one song Burdened Out, and I really vibed and I really fucked with the lyrics. And I wanted Taylor on the track because I feel like he can understand. You got to prove your worth. When I I had to feel like I felt like my worth wasn't worth shit. My self worth was fucking gone. So I want to look at someone and say, prove your own fucking worth, kind of thing. Not going up to someone saying, if you don't fucking prove your worth, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, kind of thing. Like, prove your worth. I want to show me why you want to not live, but why you want to do something you want to do, kind of thing. That's something I always go to too. Uh, a lot like prove it's really like the general like prove your worth. Prove it's been a song literally I wrote back in 2018. There's like seven different variations on the song, and when I wrote that song, I was just pissed off at the world, and Prove It dropped, and Taylor's lyrics really kind of nailed up prove your fucking worth. Show me what you
Yeah.
got. Yeah. Like,
I noticed I had a story to it, you know, or
mm-hmm,
it could be a story. You know,
yeah.
it's really cool about
Mm-hmm,
with that kind of feature. You know, like using your normal
yeah.
voice, representing you as a listener, and then
Yeah.
hearing the voice, a a very scary voice,
Mhm.
translating to the really good vocals, being like either your demon's speaking to you or something's warning
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah. When I dropped Prove It, I was sick as fuck when I recorded that, but I didn't want to retract the vocals. That was genuinely what I felt when I made that song, and I don't like switching up a feeling on a song when I know that's not the feeling I want to have. So that's why I left the vocals. But going back to the story thing though, I do a lot of things though that are story based too. Like my band Bullet Biter has a song called Flatline, and that's story based too. Like I like writing a lot of stuff about stories. I like writing a lot of stuff about feeling, and really a lot of that stuff just boils down to feeling. Feeling. If the story has feeling, like I have new songs. I'm going in the studio pretty soon. Band with my band and with my solo stuff. I'm going in the studio, and it's going to be a lot of story stuff, a lot of angry stuff. There's a lot of stuff that comes out with it. I don't want to just write about the same thing over and over. I want to keep it different up, and Prove It was kind of one of those things where it's like it started, and we can go from, you can think of it as prove your worth, I want to beat the shit out of you kind of thing, or prove your worth, you know I want to see what you can do kind of thing. And that's kind of where I take Prove It out. Yeah.
Prove it's the banger. Well, I'm gonna end this right here. One last thing. What will you say to your fans watching this? You know, or when they're gonna expect new music coming out?
So to anyone, any damaged one watching, I want to let you know it's okay. Anything that's going on in your life, it sucks right now, but it's okay. And if you ever need someone to talk to, my inbox is always open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'll always talk to you. Everything will be okay. It may be shitty right now. You may just lost your job, but use it as a time to go find a job that you want to do. If you hate your job and you think it's the shittiest thing ever and you don't make enough pay, you know, get a new job if you got enough savings saved up. If you want to go out there and you want to make music, go do it. Nothing. My first demos, some of my first ever demo called the Love EP, the Love demo, literally was recorded on my phone with a $45 amp and a first DAC guitar. And my song Paul was recorded through that demo. The only person that would ever stop you in life is yourself. Yeah, there may be a few people that say no, but the only person that's stopping them from saying no is yourself. You got to go out there, and if they say no, they say no. But knowing that you went out there and you did it yourself, do it. Uh, So go do what you want to do. You know, as long as you're not hurting yourself or you're not hurting anyone, go do what you want to do. Make sure you live your life the way you want to live. Don't be an asshole to people. Be a great person. Be a great person to someone. You know, that's really just what I want everyone to live their life with. You know, don't be an asshole. That understand the other person's situation, and you be yourself. New music wise though, my band Bullet Biter, we're gonna have stuff coming out later. I can't really give a date, but I'm just gonna say we got stuff cooking up with Bullet Biter, solo stuff. I got a couple songs coming up, and yeah, that's really all about it.
All right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for joining, and well, I can't
Yeah,
wait. I can't wait to hear more of this. You know, like either his
yeah,
story wise, or whether it's or his feelings. You know, I'm looking forward for the story the most. So
yeah.
again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next one. I hope you can be watching.